Oh hi, it's Opie. Welcome back to Let's Play Katawa Shoujo. I am running solo today, and let us continue on. We are last left off at our OC going off for exercise. My morning alarm goes off, and I flail about uselessly for a while until I remember that I've decided to give morning runs another shot. I don't know if this was my greatest idea, but I'm determined to keep going. This is about my health after all. Sure, things haven't been great lately for me, but that hasn't made existence so intolerable that I'm not going to try everything I can to stay healthy. Besides, it's all about asserting some kind of control over this thing, right? If I can manage that, well, I can manage anything. At least that's what I keep telling myself. Once again, it would appear that I'm not alone on my run. Oh, no Legs McGee is there. Emmy has apparently been there for some time. It looks like she's already worked up a good sweat. Just when the hell does she come down here anyway? Does she? Oh, it's you. I'm surprised to see you again. Why is that? Well, not many people actually manage to come back for a second try. She frowned, seemingly annoyed by a passing thought. Like the rest of the track team, for instance. Still, it was only supposed to be on a volunteer basis, so it's not that big of a shock. And I guess it's pretty early in the morning. A shrug, and it suddenly appears that she's forgotten what she was talking about. The frown disappears entirely, and she seems to snap back to her previous train of thought. So, come on then. What? You're here to run again, right? Well, yes. So, come on. I find myself suddenly grabbed and yanked onto the track. Things seem to be set on mirroring yesterday's run. That is, I seem to be struggling, while Amy moves with an effortlessness that I find inevitable. It's incredibly bothersome to be so easily worn out. I know I should be patient, work towards things gradually, but it's difficult to stay positive about this. We round the track and start off on our second lap. Emmy seems to have grown impatient keeping pace with me and begins to pull away. This is where I gave out yesterday. Huh. Take it easy, go for it. I'll take it easy. Since I'm following the guide here, it tells me to take it easy. I let Emmy go with her own pace. She doesn't show mercy, pulling half a lap ahead of me in an instant. I don't blame her. I mean, it's not as if I'm really putting up any sort of real fight out there here, is it? Instead, I'm just running at a steady pace, which is what I should be doing, right? There's no need to go pushing my limits at this stage of the game. God, is this even worth it? As we finish the second lap, I break off again. Emmy keeps going, and it also seems to me that she's disappointed. Well, that's stupid. I don't have anything to prove to her. Come to think of it, I got nothing to prove to myself either. I'm just fine the way I am. And what I'm not is a runner. This was probably a bad idea. Maybe there is something else I can do instead of this. Getting up this early sucks anyway. There's gotta be some other way to keep healthy. Walking. Maybe. Yeah, nice afternoon walks. Yeah, that sounds good. Running isn't for me. I wave to Emmy and head back to my room. I'll think of something else later. Mind the dogs in the background. Back in my room, the first thing I see is a familiar row of medication bottles lined up on the top of my dresser, and it makes me depressed as usual. It's annoying. I thought it was okay. I thought I had made my peace with this thing. Gone over it. But what I really did, I allowed myself to forget that I have a problem. Being here really reminds me of the reality, and trying to fight against it, it just hurts. Reflecting on it, it is only going to do so much. I've done this before, for months. It just seems like it's time to get over it. If I allow myself to forget that my life is definitely not going to be as long as those of others, I won't get anywhere. My life may be different from others, but it is life in progress. That is how I'll rationalize it. I downed the usual handful of pills, trying to push the sudden dreary feeling out of my head. Then I prepared to head out to class early as usual. As I step into the hallway, I notice Kenji coming out around the hallway corner, stealthily making his way over to his own room with a large bag. As he sneaks past me, soundlessly like a ninja hiding in plain sight, I call out to him. Hey. He jumps at the sound of my voice. Oh, hey man, I didn't notice you there. I'm really tired. I think it's more like he didn't see me, but that's not the issue. Where have you been this early? Shopping? Nah, I wasn't shopping. Sometimes I have to visit the math teacher. Yeah, I figured it would be a good idea to find out when the next exam is, since he tells you in advance if you want. So then, what's in the bag? I thought I'd go shopping while I was outside. I need supplies to continue the fight against the vast feminist conspiracy. Okay. I thought you didn't go outside. I wear a hat now. I decide not to point that he's not wearing a hat. An awkward silence settles between us, and then Kenji breaks it by pushing his door open slowly and releasing a creaking sound into the air that only makes some moment seem more awkward. He sets the bag down inside his room and then closes the door. I'm surprised you went out of your way to find out a test date. Trying to take advantage of an opportunity to study is pretty diligent. I never study. Oh. I just wanted to know when the next test date was. I'm still going to take it, duh. I just need to know so I know what day I can't afford to skip class. He usually sends out updates on that crap by phone, so I had to step out and check up on it. Then why do you have to go out when you can get it on your phone? I don't carry a phone. What do you mean you don't carry a phone? You mean you just leave it at home? Nah, I don't use phone. I don't have a phone. Phones. I have no phone. Why don't you have a phone? How can you not have a phone? No phone at all? No phone? I just don't like phones. Actually, I'm kind of scared of them. I don't know why. I think it's some kind of repressed trauma. But basically, when I hear a phone, I get nervous. It's my darkest secret. I have two theories on it. Either I have some fear of receiving some undefined, ominous, life-altering doom call, or I was beaten with a phone in the past. Beaten so badly I can't remember it. Beaten in the head. Well, where else could I get beaten with a phone that would make me unable to remember it? The ass. Unexpectedly logical. I feel very depressed now, sensing this conversation is more or less over. Kenji opens his door and prepares to head inside. Yeah, I'm going to sleep, dude. Have a good one. Class is going to start in like 20 minutes. I already did something today. Too tired to go to school. Hey, you need some lip balm? I accidentally bought two because I thought the store had started selling individual AA batteries. Thanks, but no thanks. Whatever, man. He swiftly enters his lair. Finally, let me go to class. For a change, I'm not among the first ones to come to morning class. Instead, almost everyone else seems to be here already. I recognize most of my class by their faces by now, and though the names escape me still. The class goes on lazily. I think I'm starting to get into the rhythm of the school. I have even stopped worrying about taking notes and being overtly attentive. The first days, I was pretty high-strung in class. Muto finishes his lecture about electricity early, but continues without a pause about the festival. So, as you know, the festival is on the day after tomorrow. I hope everyone's projects are going to be successful this year. Have a good time, but also come someday. Please keep the meaning of this festival in your minds. Games and fried food! Everyone bursts out into laughter, and so do I. Yes, thank you, Mikado. Ah, I did not press anything. The game just did that. The remainder of his sentence is buried beneath the ring of the lunch bells, and everyone starts packing their things. Muto deliberates for a moment, but since almost nobody seems to pay attention anymore, he gives up and sits down. It's crowded in the hallway, or as crowded as hallways in this school probably get. Most of the students seem to be heading down for the cafeteria. Isao! I'm going to make you a one-time, only super extra special lunch offer. Emmy's homemade lunchboxes and the privilege of enjoying them in private with two bombshell beauties. Her overly flirtatious sales pitch echoes in the hallway, a remarkable feat since it's full of people. Emmy strikes a very confident-looking pose as though as an attempt to one-up her own ridiculousness, puffing her very modest chest and making a V for victory sign with her hand. Sounds delicious. To what do I owe this honor of being invited? You stood there looking really lost and sad, so I thought you could use some company. Sorry. That is probably the most depressing reason imaginable. So how about it? You're probably really lonely and would you eat that apple cafeteria food all alone otherwise. I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Sure, I'll have your lunch offer with pleasure. Let's go to the roof. The roof? Why the roof? Because that's where we eat lunch. And if I don't get up there, then she'll probably wander off and I just know she'll go hungry because she never packs a lunch for herself. Who will? Come with me. Answering my question and waiting for a response, she grabs me by the arm and drags me through the hallways. I attempt to make conversation on the way. Why do you have an extra lunch? Emmy smiles guiltily. Actually, it's yesterday's lunch. I slipped in a run at lunch and forgot to eat it. Huh? The stairway to the roof is a little dilapidated. Dilapidated? I think that's how it's said. But it's clearly been used recently. At the top of the stairs is a door, complete with a missing padlock. I wonder who the intrepid individual was that removed the lock. Oh, hello? Emmy shoves the door open and steps beaming into the sunlight. Oh, hey, it's the arms McGee. Suddenly, a tall, dark stranger appears out of nowhere, standing imposingly in front of us. Emmy flinches back, almost falling back down the stairs. Eee! Hello. Yipes, you scared me, Rin. Wait, isn't she? Hello. Noticing that Rin is speaking to me, Emmy looks curiously at me. You two know each other? I look confusedly at Emmy. She's that friend of yours? Rin has turned her gaze towards the clouds drifting above the school. I didn't know you knew this person, Emmy. The awkward silence lasts only for a few seconds until Emmy lets out a tiny giggle, shrugging the coincidence off. I invited Hisao for lunch. If you know him, that's just better. Oh, does this mean I don't get food? Or did you invite him for lunch without the lunch? Neither. I have food for 3. Nice thinking. They walk into the other end of the roof while I stay at the clock tower for a while, taking in the atmosphere. There's nobody else but us here. I guess the roof is not as popular as it is in other schools. A few rundown benches and tables are scattered around the edges, perhaps in an attempt to make the rooftop look less desolate. Small pebbles covering the roof right up beneath our feet. I peek through the chain-link fence to take a look at the school grounds and beyond. Students are strolling in pairs and groups around the quadrangle at the cafeteria. A few delivery trucks are driving past the school towards the convenience store nearby. Somewhere a watchdog barks at a passerby. Somehow when I look towards the town center, the small town feel strikes me very strongly. Almost painfully. The hectic lifestyle of a big metropolis seems so far away and foreign here. Nobody has to run to catch a bus like their life depended on it, or get their senses overloaded by the neon lights and traffic jams. I feel surprisingly optimistic about this new life of mine, looking at my new hometown, even if it's going to be mine for only one short year. Finding about my illness and having to move away from home all came so suddenly. I haven't had time to think about how I feel about it. When I step out of the shadow of the clock tower to open up, I feel warmth touching my back. The sun shines from a perfectly clear cerulean sky. A cool breeze sweeping over the rooftop that makes me shiver, but only briefly. The wind carries a scent of trees and flowers, not smog and car exhaust like it used to, just a few weeks ago. Emmy settles on a bench with Rin in tow and produces 1 big or 2 small lunch boxes from her bag. Come on, Isao, what are we waiting for? She is beckoning me to join them, making room on the already small bench. I seat myself in the corner of on the corner of the bench to take in as little space as possible. It's pretty cramped, but somehow all three of us fit on it. Impressive view. Amy suppresses a giggle and places the lunchbox in front of Rin and hands another lunchbox to me. Here you go. Lunch is promised. Homemade, no less. I'm impressed. Oh, this looks really good. Thanks, I make them myself when I can. Conversation dies off as I set about the business of feeding myself. Taking a few bites, I glance up and notice Rin definitely opening a lunchbox and popping a fork full of food into her mouth, only using her feet. Even though I've seen it before, I can't help but be impressed by her dexterity. It's an impressive feat that she eats with her feet. It's also a reminder of the sort of place that I'm in right now. Will I ever get used to sights such as this? I can't decide if getting used to such a wild thing would be a good thing or a bad thing either. Does getting used to this place mean that I'm giving up on being a normal person? Or does it mean that I'm becoming more understanding about those around me? I'm distracted from my thoughts by the sight of Emmy tearing into her lunch as if it had insulted her ancestors. You seem pretty hungry. Emmy looks up, mouth half full, and swallows before nodding. My morning run always works up an appetite, which is great because I burn through lunch pretty quickly. Helps me keep my girlish figure. What would happen if you lose it? Would you become a man? I'm very nearly choking my lunch, trying not to laugh. It's a figure of speech. Does your figure have to run in the mornings too? Do you always talk like this? Talk like what? Like what? I think that answers my question. Never mind. So, I struggle to think of small talk and settle on the obvious question. How'd you two meet? Rin seems content to let me answer this question. Someone in the housing department thought we complement each other well, so we were assigned rooms next to one another. Complement each other? Like shoes and a suit. Huh? Amy giggles at my confusion. We put us together and we got all our limbs. Get it? Oh. Funny joke. So I started helping Rin get ready in the mornings, and that was that. I mean, you can't help someone get dressed in every morning and not get along. I see. Rin chooses this moment to interject. I have trouble with shirts. Right. That seems fairly obvious. Really? Kind of. This isn't helping, but at least Emmy seems to find the whole thing funny. That, combined with the fact that Rin is genuinely curious, makes me feel slightly better and yet confused. I mean, you got no arms. So, putting on a shirt seems like one of those things that would be difficult. You know what? I'm just gonna stop talking now. It'll save me a lot of trouble in the long run. Rin nods in what I suspect is meant to be a sage manner. I see. The conversation dies as I turn my attention back to my lunch. It's really quite good. Amy finishes her lunch first and makes a contented noise. That was good. As she busies herself with cleaning up her lunch, Rin speaks up. I'm thirsty. Oh, I almost forgot about that. Sorry. With a flourish, she reaches into her bag and removes a trio of juice boxes. She tosses me one that appears to be cranberry juice. One to Rin that appears to be some kind of strawberry milk, complete with a pink color scheme, and keeps an equally pink box of some kind of fruit punch to herself. Rin dexterously stabs her straw through the top of her box and begins to drink. I'm once again impressed by how flexible she is, but this time I keep my comment to myself. Somehow I don't think either Emmy or Rin are the sorts of people to think twice about the way they work around their particular disabilities. Rin especially so. Indeed, she gives off the impression of being entirely aware that she's missing any limbs at all. Whether or not that is a conscious decision is another matter. I'm honestly not sure. So, Isa, how do you like it up here? It's quite nice, actually. I like high places for the view. Thanks for inviting me up here. And for the lunch, too. Amy grins a 1,000-watt grin, pleased by my response, I suppose. No problem. Feel free to eat with us next time, too, okay? I won't make you a lunch, but you can bring your own up here. No lunch for service? I don't know. Amy looks mock offended. Trying to take advantage of my good nature? The nerve. She giggles. Well, if that's your answer, I guess Rin and I will just keep eating lunch all alone. I am suddenly assaulted by the most heart-rendering puppy dog eyes I've ever seen, as Emmy pouts. Kidding! I was kidding. I love to eat lunch up here again. Good location, and the company's okay too. Emmy frowns a bit at my declaration of okay, but seems having enough that I've accepted her invitation. I guess that makes us friends now. Or at least acquaintances. The lunch bell rings, signaling a return downstairs. Rin, you didn't finish your lunch again. I wasn't that hungry. If you don't eat more, you're going to fade away. Rin shrugs, as if this is an acceptable risk. Come on, we better get going. The three of us head down the stairs together. The afternoon class passes. Once again, I find myself without a plan for something to do after school, so I head to the library to return a couple of books I finished reading. Walking inside, I see that there are about as many students here as there were on Tuesday, all the more evident from the almost total silence enveloping the room. Oh, as I drop the books I borrowed from the return into the return slot into the counter, Yuko suddenly pops up from behind it, quite startled from the banging as they make as they hit the trolley next to her. Cute librarian, no, that's for sure. Sorry, Yuko, didn't mean to startle you. No, it's fine. It happens a lot. I'm used to it by now. Can I help you? It's okay, I think I know where everything is. Thanks anyway. I suppose I'll grab another book or two while I'm here. There's not much else to do. And after reading so much during my stay at the hospital, it's become a hard habit to break. I wander down to the fiction section towards the back of the library, scanning the bookshelves for anything that catches my eye. Oh, music stopped. Something's gonna happen. As I do, I look over to the corner where Hanako has been for the last time I was here, not really expecting anything to come of it. There she is. Surprisingly, though, she's there, absorbed completely in a fairly thick book. I decide against intruding her like last time and get back to finding reading material. Oh, so you didn't bother her. Alright. After a indiscernible amount of time spent pursuing the aisles, I finally decide on a couple books to get and slide them off the shelf. With a minimum of fuss, I quickly walk over to the counter, check out my books, and pop them into my bag as I walk out. By the time I leave the main building, sunset isn't too far away. A small trickle of students remain, but the majority have left, presumably to their homes and dorms. I guess I need to buy some supplies. Can't live off cafeteria food and eating out the entire stay here. My entire stay here. As I leave for the gate, I make a few loud stretches to try and starve off the tiredness that's accumulated over the week. After passing through them round the corner, though, I see a solitary figure walking downhill towards the small town below. The color of her hair and tapping of her cane are unmistakable. I quickly walk up to her, which seems to catch her attention without a word needing to be said. Hi, Lily. She takes a moment to place the voice, decidedly adjusting her head to face a bit more towards the source of my voice as she does. Isao? Yeah, that's me. She seems to have a good memory for voices. The fact that she actually remembered it is a pleasant surprise. Good evening. What brings you here? Once again, she gives a small polite bow, and once again, I reply in kind before realizing I had need to do so. Just going into town. You? My, what a coincidence. Doing the same thing, eh? I usually go shopping on Fridays. She pauses for a moment, suddenly looking a That said, Hanako usually comes into town with me. Ah, I'm lost. But worried. The two do seem to keep pretty close tabs at one another. It's kind of surprising that Hanako would just forget Lily. I noticed her reading in the library. She probably just got caught up in a book. She lets out a small sigh of relief. Thank you. She has a habit of doing that. Avid reading. Right. She doesn't like being around crowds of people, so reading away from everyone lets her relax a bit. Although she probably didn't intend it, but I can't help but grimace as I recall my first meeting with her. Hardly wanting to bring it up, I remained silent as we quietly continued to walk down the quiet road. Tuck, 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 tuck. With the road benefit of cars and the students of Yamaku increasingly far behind us, the quiet rustling of the leaves and measured tapping of Lily's cane against the sidewalk are all can that be heard. It's kind of nice, especially compared to the hustle and bustle where I used to live. Before I know it, I relax so much that a loud yawn escapes before I can control it. Tired? Yeah, I've been running ragged in these past few days. That's an understatement, to be sure. Transferring to a different school would be bad enough, but nothing like this. Well, hopefully everything should settle down for you. The festival's got everyone in the spin right now, and you've been plopped right in the middle of things. For the moment, I hesitate. By giving her apparent tolerance for frankness, I decide to give my full thoughts. I guess Yamaku's kind of different though. I mean, the formality surrounding everything, the isolation around it, not to mention the most obvious difference. It's kind of a whole mindset, different mindset. I suppose I'll get used to it though in time. She gives a matter-of-fact nod, apparently pleased with my answer. It feels almost as if she's included me in the flock of students she's shepherding, along with the class 3-2 in Hanako. Well, not that in my mind. It's nice to get the thoughts off my chest in any case. Looking at the bright side, one can see it as a chance for a new beginning. You should cherish the ability to make new friends. That's optimistic. Nonetheless, it's good to have a positive attitude about such things, I suppose. I guess that's a good take on it. Walking on down the road, she seems to become somewhat unsettled. Before I can ask what's on her mind, she seems to collect herself and speaks up about something else. So, where in town are you going? That's actually a pretty good question. I come in to buy food, but the layout of the place is still totally foreign to me. I had intended to just wander around and see what I could find, but with sunset already approaching and nightfall not too far away, that doesn't seem very wise. I'm going to have to ask her for directions. Again. I was going to get some food, but now that you mention it, I don't really know the way. Do you know the way? Well now, this is quite lucky. I was just about to go to the convenience store myself. Looks like I will be in your care again. Then, thanks. Together we walk to the store. My pace is carefully slowed to remain beside her. Compared to my usual walking pace, hers is quite a bit slower. Not that it's without reason. After what couldn't be more than several minutes, I catch sight of our objective. This town is pretty small. Without further ado, we make our way inside with a greeting from the counter. Mind if I tag along with you? Usually Hanako would help me, but seeing that she's not here. It takes a moment before I realize what she means. Considering she wouldn't be able to read any of the labels, shopping without any help would be a big pain for her. That said, I can't shake the feeling that she had this idea since I said I was coming here. Sure, it would be my pleasure. I grabbed 2 well-used red baskets from the small stack beside the entrance, handing one to Lily. The hell is this? Oh. She lays it on the ground, putting her school bag in, retracting her cane and sliding it through the basket's handles before picking it back up on her right hand. In her right hand. Wait, if she doesn't use her cane... Before I can complete the thought, she comes beside me and pinches the cuff of my uniform and just slide her fingers. Is this alright? Ah, sure. I have no reason not to accept. I can think of worse things than shopping with a pretty girl holding on to me, even if it's out of necessity. necessity. We navigate our way through the store, with not one of the occasional passing customer seeming to bat an eyelid. Considering how close Yamaku is, I guess seeing students from there must be entirely normal for the local residents. As we reach each aisle, I quickly check with Lily and find out what she needs. I grab it along with what I'm looking for, and put our items into their respective baskets. I guess this is the same routine she and Hanako follow every Friday. Right. All that's left is the bread, and that should be my shopping done. Do you need anything else, Lily? No, this should be everything. Off we go then. With a quick side trip to the bakery section, we make our way to the registers. The line, thankfully, is almost non-existent. It's not long before we've both paid for our food and are out the door. As Lily retrieves her cane and extends it to full length, I waste a minute looking upwards at the night sky while holding both our bags. For a moment, I try to make clouds with my breath, but the summer's heat doesn't seem to cooperate. Eventually, she rights herself, taking a quick stretch before taking her bag and leaving me to my tube. You tired as well? The festival preparations have been a complete chaos. Shizune's breathing down my neck doesn't exactly help things either. Hey, she's only trying to get everything organized, better now than not later, right? I suppose I'm going to enjoy relaxing in town tomorrow, that's for sure. I guess the festival's preparations must be taking their toll on both of them. We walk out into the quiet street, talking between ourselves as we carry our bags of food and supplies from the store. Wait, what's that? I notice a very distinctive figure making its way towards us, silhouetted by the street lamps. For a second, I think it's another male student from my class, but as he, or should I say, she, gets closer, I recognize her quickly. Rin! What are you doing out here so late? Rin? Lily perks her head, looking like she's trying to focus on listening more keenly. It suddenly comes to me that I should probably interpret the scene for her. It's Rin, Tezuka. I think that was her last name from our school. She stiffens at the name and gives a complicated looking expression. Something like a forced fusion of a composed smile and a painful cringe. I understand. I guess Lily knows Rin too. Rin turns to look at us, looking terribly out of it. I'm not entirely sure if she recognizes either of us, or at least she doesn't acknowledge it if she does. She looks like a zombie. Or statue. Or a statue of a zombie. But slowly some symptoms of understanding seem to light in her dark eyes. Is this something she must react to? Rin blinks once, very thoroughly. Hello. ... There's an awkward pause, everyone waiting for someone else to say something. What are you doing here this late? ... I was wondering about that myself too, just now. Some people had asked just that before. I assumed that they were wondering the same. I didn't know. They didn't know either. I asked. That's why I'm wondering. So that was pretty much of it. It's a murder mystery without a murder. They were going that way. She turns facing to her right in order to demonstrate the direction of the other people went to as if that was important. Then rotates back like a mechanical puppet in one of those overly complicated clockworks. For a person who gives an impression of being the quiet type, Rin really does that, use a lot of words to say things that don't need a lot to be said. Unsure if she's finished, I say nothing. It is Lily, who seems equally robbed of words for the time being. I think that both of us are, in fact, just scared that any response might provoke her to continue. Our stupefied lack of reaction doesn't faze Rin at all. She keeps looking at us expectantly, a calm hint of expression on her blank face. She seems to be that kind of person, always so relaxed, as if bull elephant grade sedatives were flowing within her veins in the place of blood. Do you have amnesia? I don't recall you having anything of the sort, though. No, I don't think it's that. The other passerbyers were probably just worried, though. You do look really lost, the way you're standing in the middle of the street. Oh, I see. some other kind of pose in that case. I pondered for a while whether I should chase this angle further or give up for the sake of her own sanity. I decided on the latter. It seems that most of the time, it's better to not read too deeply what Rin is babbling about. Talking with Rin is like playing chess with a supercomputer, who does seemingly completely random moves as if to mock everything you know about chess. It's like that, except with human interaction. And even if I win, it feels like losing. Damn, it's just like Kenji said, even when I win, I lose. Is this the power of the girls of Yamaku? I pushed the thought aside as too dangerous to consider further. It's probably just Kenji's anti-female propaganda getting to me during a moment of weakness. Yeah, maybe taking another pose might have worked. So anyway, you have no idea what you're doing here. She frowns, looking extremely displeased at either my question, its consequences, or the answer she's about to give. I do have some idea, but I can't really tell what kind of an idea. That sounds like progress, at least. Lily sounds as if she has spotted an opening for some kind of discernibly normal conversation. You can't say I share her optimism. Yes, there is some, definitely. The rest will come later. I'm sure of it. I'll always have reasons. The ensuing silence kills Lily's hopes all too visibly. That endless one. Rin, as far as I can tell, is unbiased. Assurances aside, what should be done? Could have just left her to her own devices, whatever those are. But it's late, and I don't think we'll be getting any thanks if Rin is found standing here in the middle of the night. Which she probably will, unless she manages to remember what she was doing here in the first place. As for me trying to guess what might have been going on in her mind when she decided to embark on this adventure, chances seem to be on par with winning the lottery several times in a row. Lily is oddly quietly too. I appreciate some support from the sidelines here, especially if she's more familiar with Rin than I am. But it can't be helped. It seems her familiarity with Rin is exactly why she stayed subdued. So, I assume you were going somewhere. Not coming back to the school? Any idea where? Her eyes widen in shock as she dolts back in somewhat artificial way, making it seem like an act rehearsed for situations like this. Are you a mind reader? Is that your disability? How unique? No, what? Why would you think that? You knew what I was doing. It was just an educated guess. We walked in the same street in the other direction just to get to the store. If you were going to school, we would have met you on the way. Oh, she looks a little disappointed. Like Kenji, Rin appears too quick to jump into completely irrational conclusions. Maybe it's something in the water here. I make a mental note to stock up on soft drinks. You know, that is the second time this week that someone asked if I was a mind reader. Do I really give off that impression? Rin shrugs off her shoulders, which is all the answer I get. You know, maybe you should come with us back to school. Lily interjects as if I'm about to further debunk my alleged mind-reading capabilities. She sounds rather concerned, the paper-thin smile on her face badly disguising that fact. Maybe she came to the same conclusion as I did, for everyone's sake. I decided to let the mind-reading topic drop, as it is entirely inane anyway. Yeah, Lily's right. If you can't remember, there's no point staying here. Rin considers this rather simple deduction for a moment, then nods. Okay. We start towards the school again, having wasted way more time than necessary with this episode. Rin walks along the edge of the sidewalk in her rhythmic way, looking like a mix of sleepwalker and rope dancer, while Lily keeps one hand on my shoulder, tapping on the ground with her cane. Tap, step, step, tap, tap, step, step, step. Apart from that, a few fragmented beginnings of conversation. It's quiet apart from the relaxing into town at that. So how's the mural going? We're going to get bad luck. Never talk about works in progress. I'm sure it'd be wonderful. Bad luck. Tap, step, tap, step. She doesn't care to talk about it. Lily's politeness feels out of place for the first time. Step, step, step. The hill Yamaku rests on top is surprisingly steep, going uphill. We slow the pace, but I still feel my pulse rising and breathing getting heavier. Almost there. I can see the gates already. More than that, though, I notice that Lily's hand slightly tightens on my shoulder, interpreting it as a gesture as she walks to ask something. I speak up. Anything wrong, Lily? I resist the urge to say, aside from our travel companion, but only just. For a moment, she seems to debate whether she should even bring it up, but goes for it anyway. Is everything alright? Alright? How do you mean? I can't imagine how the fact I can't interpret her incredibly vague question puts her off for a second. It's just, you seem unusually tired, I guess. Now that she brings it up, I notice that my breathing is strangely heavy. The uphill walk has really done a job on me. Lily noticed it all too quickly. Ooh. Sorry, I'm in bad shape. It's alright. I just need to catch my breath. My condition isn't the best these days. Oh? Is it something that is related to you being transferred here? I mean... She cuts herself off, rather abruptly, maybe realizing she was being a bit intrusive. Her instincts are sharp though, and while I don't like the subjects, it's not like I should lie about it. If it's Lily, I don't think I mind. I'm just a little weak for the time being. Hanako said you look fairly healthy, so I naturally thought... Lily doesn't finish her sentence again, letting it trail off with a measure of concern. As she furrows her brow, Lily's uncomfortable expression spurs me to say at least something to ease her feelings. It's surprising she's this flustered, considering her straightforward attitude with her own blindness. She must know that not all share her own comfort about such things. No, it's okay. I have a pretty... I guess the best way to put it would be messed up. Heart. Arrhythmia. I have a bad heart attack a while ago because of it. It's spent most of the spring in the hospital, and it in Yamaku's on doctor's orders. She silently nods her head in acknowledgement. My answer, though, only seems to make Lily furrow her brow even further. She doesn't seem to quite know how to react, given we don't really know each other that well. Can't really fault her for it, given I have the exact same reaction. To my surprise, in a moment's time, her face shows that she's comes to some sort of realization. Wait, so the time when Emmy and you collided in the hallway? I grimaced slightly. Her ability to connect the dots quite so fast is unexpected. Yeah, I'm a textbook example of why those rules about running in the corridors exist. That was a lot more dry than I had intended. Lily visibly shies away from continuing this topic. While I do want to assuage her concern, I really don't want to dwell on this either. Don't worry about it. I try to offer a reassuring smile, but then I realize the futility. Without knowing this, Lily smiles at me reassuringly, but doesn't say anything further. Arriving at the dorms, Rin stops in front of her mural as if lightning struck her. She had been so quiet for almost all of the walk back that I had all but forgotten she was here. It's Friday, isn't it? Yes, Friday the 8th of June. This is bad. Bad? Why? I think I'm going to go in a fetal position and throw up. Probably in reverse order. Is something wrong? No, nothing's wrong. It's Friday and nothing is wrong yet. This mural, it's going to be need to be finished by Sunday, so everything is alright. Do you have any drugs or a time machine? This is not good. Not good. So she's behind her schedule. Recalling Shizune's exasperation and Rin's carefree attitude several days ago. I don't know what to think. She's left herself open for a told you so, unless she could pull off whatever she needs to pull off by Sunday morning. Rin keeps staring at her mural, looking as mortified as she can. Leave me. I'm going to need it to work for a while. I glance at Lily, expecting her to share an incredulous look with me as I roll my eyes. But then I realize she's not one to do that kind of thing. Leave me. We do, of course, not wanting to aggravate her any more than she already is. There is a churning bad feeling in my gut. Rin sure has a knack of making people feel worried about her. She seems like the person who should never be left alone. Maybe we should call someone? She sounded like she was going into shock or something. I'm sure she will be just fine. She's just how to say? Lily cocks her head a little, trying to find a polite way of calling Rin crazy without calling her crazy. Unique? Well, that was my line. Unique. Yes, a very unique person. I guess you could say that. She giggles at the. Oh, shit. I skipped that. Sorry. She giggles at the notion medically not in agreement. Sorry about leaving you stranded as you talk to her. I don't really understand her, so I keep my distance. So my guess was right. Lily offers a slight apologetic smile as she was sorry about that her own shortcomings had prevented her from becoming closer to Rin. I'm not one to blame her at all. Lily lets slip a long breath, probably a disguised yawn. I imagine she's as exhausted by all this as I am. I better leave now and give these to Hanako. Thank you for the company, Hisao. She smiles very sweetly at me. It feels different than normal, despite the fact that she seems to be smiling so often. Can't put my finger on what the difference is. It's just different. Relaxed, I say. But that's probably just relief over getting rid of Rin. Maybe. Yeah, good night. Say hi to Hanako for me. I will. Good night. Well, that was a lot of events. Pretty eventful. And we're still not in the second act. I'm looking at this guy. There are 4 acts into this. And we're not even through the first act. We're still in the act one, and we're going to stop here and continue on at another time. Next time, let's play Katawa Shoujo. Hopefully, I get my friend John in this. But yeah. Anyways, thank you for watching. See you guys next time.